Hi, everybody.
Hi, Dr. Nick.
And we just watched the trailer for Godzilla vs. Kong.
Kong.
And we're going to talk about it. Okay, Rob, did you like the trailer? I already know the answer is yes, but did you like the trailer?
Yes, I enjoyed the trailer a lot. I like that there was a lot of action going on. We saw Godzilla and Kong interacting, and we know two things about the movie, and that is it. And I hope this is the only trailer.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to get another actual trailer. I think this is just the one because we're 2 months away. It gives you what you want to see. It's like, okay, we know that they're bringing Kong to humanity. Why are they bringing Kong to humanity? We don't know. We know there's this little girl who can communicate with Kong. She's the only that apparently can. So we're still getting like a human aspect there. And we know that Godzilla is pissed about something. And where they're going to fight.
I think we have a little bit of an idea of what it could be.
Okay, we're just going to say now, potential spoilers based on toys that got leaked a year ago.
Yeah.
We're just going to say that now. Get about to now. Apparently at like the 4-second mark of the trailer, you can see something in the background. People are running with some red in it, and it is likely good old boy himself, Mechagodzilla.
Yeah, Tin Can. The best Tin Can.
Which was hinted at the end of King of the Monsters in the credits. If you actually read the newspaper clippings, it does mention they're working on making a mechanical titan of some sort.
And I think we all just kind of slightly assumed, like, especially after how KOTM ended, that it would be King Ghidorah.
I don't think so much. Well, okay, there is like, okay, they still have another Ghidorah head. They're in fact the main villain's whole thing is Titan DNA. So if everyone's thinking they're gonna do something like bring him back, or like with the mechanical stuff make Mecha Ghidorah, we don't know because apparently Alan Jonah isn't in this movie.
No, Charles Dance pieced the fuck out and said,
Bye.
Bye.
I mean,
bye.
They might try to get him back if they do more MonsterVerse movies, which we don't know at this point in time. Because let's talk about that real quick. From day one, we knew that we were getting Godzilla 2014, Skull Island, King of Monsters, and this. So we knew from the get-go we were getting 4 movies. They never specified whether or not we'd get more. So even if this is the last one, at least it did better than the Dark Universe and probably the DCEU in that they actually did what they wanted to do. They at least
they did.
They accomplished what they set out to do, which is more than a lot of the other cinematic universes can say. From this trailer, one thing that we can get Liam on is that, look, we don't actually know this just from this trailer, but like they're definitely focusing more on Kong right now, which you can get. There are 2 possibilities with that. One, I'm thinking maybe it's just because there's been 1 Kong movie so far and 2 Godzilla movies. We haven't really seen much of Kong yet.
No.
So they probably just wanted to focus more on him to get more use out of it.
Yeah, and I like that because this is probably like my favorite Kong, and I know I'm saying this based on 1 movie, but he's so much more of a character now, and I like that he's got that Del Toro twist to him because, I mean, Jackson's Kong was a character in and of itself, but I don't know. This Kong just feels so much more human, and I want to see more of him because I know he's just not mindless monkey. He has reasoning, and he knows, like, the difference between good and bad. He's protected people. He's helped people. Godzilla, it's just kind of been, was it situational? Was he actually giving a crap? We don't know. But, yeah, I like that GVK is probably going to be paying more attention to Kong, and I feel like that's going to help really keep us guessing as to why Godzilla is so miffed.
Yeah.
Even though we kind of know.
Like, with Peter Jackson's Kong, going back to that, like, that really is just a big gorilla. He has, like, the attachment to, like, Andero and everything, but really, he's mostly just a big gorilla right down to the design. The Skull Island Kong pays more closely attention to like how in 1933 he looked like a gorilla, but he was also slightly off.
Yeah.
Whereas this, yeah, he does look more gorilla in the face, but there's also more of a face there, if that makes any sense, and like the way he actually carries himself and acts, down to walking on 2 legs.
CVK.
Okay, let's not go that far. But like it is nice to see like he actually has like a human connection. Like there was the scene on the cliff where he like walked up to Loki and Brie Larson and just like looked at them and had that moment with them. Whereas here he has like the nice moment with the little girl, and like we know that little girl is definitely going to have a big impact on the movie since they outright called her out and said she's the only one that has a connection to him.
Yeah.
The only one that communicates.
And
Wolfman Walter on Twitter did bring up that apparently that is a child actress who is deaf and that she's likely going to sign with him, more than likely.
oh, that's genius.
Yeah, that makes sense. Plus, it's like
that's awesome.
It would be a little weird if she just like spoke in full sentences to Kong and had him listen, like actually like signing to him. That also kind of goes in line with how the MonsterVerse has kind of been trying to be more scientific with it. Like, oh, these have like actual species and like classifications and everything.
But also batshit insane at the same time.
Well, yeah, but like for this, it's like, oh, they're going off of like Coco the gorilla sign language. Like they're actually basing it more like real life.
I feel like that's definitely going to help the Kong side of the story because so many people are just going to blindly go into this movie expecting Godzilla to be, big man winner and everything. And I don't think they're really ready for the possibility of Kong existing and tugging at your heartstrings a little bit as well.
It's weird because like a lot of people just discount Kong immediately for some reason when it's like
because Godzilla has atomic breath and Godzilla's bigger. Like it's like the same argument over and over again when it's like, guys, Kong became Scorpion from Mortal Kombat in Skull Island. Godzilla has a fight on his hands. Relax, please.
It's also surprising because a lot of people still apparently don't know that the 2 ending rumor thing for the original is bullshit.
Yeah, I can't believe that that's still a thing when it was officially like talked about that no, that does not exist. The only difference between the 2 cuts is one says the end in Japanese text and somewhat covers King Kong swimming away. The other one just says the end under Kong swimming away.
I think some of the dialogue is slightly more Kong favoring in America, whereas in Japan I think it's a little more vague, but even then it's like, no, it still ends the exact same way.
Yeah, there's no major, like, Godzilla wins in Japan, Kong wins in America type thing. Even as a kid, that sounded dumb, but anyway.
Well, it's also a matter of these movies haven't exactly been available that much, so people don't know because they haven't actually seen both versions of the movie. They also probably don't know that Kong gets lightning powers in that movie.
Yeah, and
that's how he wins.
Yeah, he Thunder Smash Godzilla like right in the face. It's fantastic.
And also people probably also don't know like the order of when these movies came out. They probably thought it was like a more recent one, recent in quotes obviously, but no, it was literally the 3rd film in the series. It was the first time both were in color. Godzilla was only 8 years old by that point. Kong had like over 20, almost 30 years on him already.
Yeah.
Kong was much more popular everywhere at that time, so of course Kong won.
Yeah. Especially in Japan. And that's another aspect that I think a lot of people are just a little bit deafened on.
Yeah.
Just that Godzilla was supposed to be shot just like Kong was at one point because Toho loved Kong so much. The suit literally just happened because we don't got that kind of budget, fam. And I think it's kind of poetic, honestly.
Yeah. Then, like, what am I saying here?
You're saying let's talk about the trailer more.
Right, these are things I'm probably going to talk about in my new video anyway.
Yeah.
Okay, so in the trailer, I got a lot of Pacific Rim vibes, mostly because, like, the song choice was very familiar. Like, they went with, like, the style they did for the Uprising trailer. And, like, just, like, the neon lights in, is that Hong Kong?
I think it's Hong Kong. I really do.
Where it's like, it's still a night fight, but it's also, there's bright neon lights everywhere, so we can make everything out nice and clear.
That's going, like, if that's done right, that is probably going to be one of the more beautiful scenes in the movie, just because Godzilla and Kong being illuminated by the neons of Hong Kong is just going to be so awesome.
Plus, it's like, again, harkens back to, like, the original Pacific Rim in the boat sword scene.
The only Pacific Rim. What are you talking about? I'm being what?
And like everyone's like, "Oh, Warbat's probably gonna like a big thing." It's like you look at that design, like that is a snake with wings. That's probably like the skull crawler. It's probably just fodder. And then we see in the movie Kong's just using it to swing around, hit other things. Like, yeah, that's a species. Yeah. That's probably just like a thing that exists in that universe, but probably isn't a big deal.
Yeah, it's just a new monster that just decided to show up on Skull Island, or just was always there, but was just woken up by Ghidorah. Like, that's probably as deep as it's gonna go.
Even then, I don't think it needs to even go that far. It probably just is part of Skull Island. We just didn't get to see one in the last movie. It's probably just there in general. It's just
I might be giving it too much credit.
I don't think this was. I think it's just a species that lives there. It just wasn't in the last movie, or like they're in the Hollow Earth or something. These are just like monsters that exist in this world because they did like there are because technically everything in this series are Titans, even like the smaller things like the wood ant Pokemon looking thing from Skull Island's technically a Titan. The big water buffalo thing. Like, Titans aren't necessarily just the giant monsters you see in, like, with Godzilla, Mothra, Rodan. They're just, like, all the big super species in general.
Anything that coexists with big lizard or big monkey is Titan to me, at least. So
that's, like, bigger
that's
than, like,
that's my take on it. That's what makes the most sense to me, honestly.
Like, anything, like, coming from, like, the Hollow Earth or Skull Island that's, like, not normal or bigger in size is probably I think would have like the Titan classification at this point. It's a little hard to say because the Titan classification only existed for one movie. Before then it was Mutos.
Yeah, and the Mutos,
which I think I'm gonna say honestly, I think the Muto classification makes more sense in general for this universe. I feel like we should have it. Well, okay, the word massive is in this, so maybe not, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, I do.
Which, it's still weird that they never gave those actual names. They just are the Mutos, and it's like, well, that's an acronym.
Yeah, massive unidentified terrestrial object, right?
Yeah, well, like, there was the Muto Primes from the comic, but it's like, I don't think the comics really are canon in the same way the movies are. Like, yeah, they're canon, but they also don't really have much. They're optional. They don't really have much of an effect on it. They're just background. Like, yeah, sure, those events technically happen, but they're not going to call on them in the movies because they can't assume people actually read the comics.
Yeah.
That's why they never really go into deep with, like, what happened to Will Rando, what happened at the Castle Bravo experiment. They never talk about those since not everyone read the comics. Speaking of which, with the movie getting bumped up to March, you think we're going to get merch bumped up now?
Well, according to Playmates, Wave 2 GVK were already being shipped out a week or two ago to Walmart, so I imagine we'll get, Kong, Warbat, and the 2 Mega figures rather soon for February.
Yeah, apparently the Warbat and Kong were already in Europe.
They were because all of the scalp things are from the UK. So
also there's like the thing that's like, yeah, they said that these are going to come out in spring. That's what they said last year, and then those ended up coming out in January anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I feel like in like the books, like I can't imagine they would release the art book like 2 months after the movie.
I would like it if they did that. That way everybody and their mother isn't making 35-minute long videos on stuff they found in the art book before the movie actually gets seen by the general public.
Well, the art book usually comes out like a week or so after.
Oh.
Like, I think the King of the Monsters art book got released like 2 weeks after the movie.
Did it?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was like a June thing.
God damn.
The soundtrack will probably come out like around the same time online, at least, though, because you kind of have to do that.
That's something I'm actually very excited about because Junkie XL, like, doing something like this is just sounds like a very fun idea, and it sounds like that's probably the best choice they could have gone with this, because I remember when the big speculation was, it was going to be Rob Zombie, and I was like totally behind that, just because it's Rob Zombie and it's Godzilla versus Kong.
Has Rob Zombie ever scored a movie before?
No, not that I know.
I can see him making a song for the movie, like over the credits or like an intro or something, but I don't think I can see him actually scoring the movie.
I mean, I could be wrong. He might have scored a movie. I'm not sure. I think maybe he might have. Again,
I mean, if he did, it probably would have been one of his own movies.
Yeah, and I feel like we would have known that by now, but I don't know if it was ever like a thing that he scored it or that he would be working on it. But he deleted his Instagram post, so everybody's kind of like, ooh.
I think that might have just been Adam Wingard likes Rob Zombie, and everyone just jumped on him. Like, oh, he was in GVK, so he deleted it. Like, no.
Yeah.
It's like, I do other things, guys. It's
like, I like stuff too, God, my Discord is going.
I am
off
wondering
right now.
why they're bringing Kong to civilization, but we'll probably find out in the movie.
Mm-hmm.
They're very vague on like what the villain's plan is, which I mean, good.
I agree. Good.
Like, don't give away the whole plot to the movie again, like last time. Because if you actually like look at all the trailers for King of the Monsters and put them all together, they basically show you the entire plot within like 5 minutes.
Yeah, and
They literally show you burning Godzilla in like one of the hype up trailers. They show you like the ending sequences where he's like looking at all the other Titans around the island, around Boston,
which was a mistake.
Which is literally the ending.
Yeah,
which is literally the ending of the movie.
Yeah, that was big mistake. Video is up now if you are interested, but you're not because we're recording. But I'm just letting you know.
It's just like they're showing enough at this point, which is good. To get people interested. And there was like people saying like, do they even need to release a trailer for this? Because I just want to go in blind. It's like, okay, yeah, you can go in blind. Sure, all of us, the fans, we're gonna watch this no matter what.
Yeah, and
the thing is, you have to realize only about like 20% of the country uses Twitter.
Yeah, which is crazy to think about.
Yeah, and even within that 20% and that big 80% that doesn't, most of those people do not take daily walks down Walmart's toy aisle.
Yeah.
Most of these people don't even know this movie exists.
Yeah, and it's needed at least a singular trailer. It just needs that for the general public, because this isn't a Marvel movie. This isn't a big-ass Disney movie either. It is just Godzilla vs. Kong, and it needs a little bit of a push.
It is weird. The one thing I was trying to get at like earlier, talking about like people discarding Kong, it's also weird because it's like, traditionally, history shows that doesn't really happen either. Like, people always say, oh, Godzilla's so cool, but then they don't actually watch the movies. It's like, oh, who cares about Kong? And then that's the one that does the best.
Yeah, it's always the one that does the best.
So it's like, what is going on here? Like, I feel like Godzilla versus Kong, at least for marquee value, it's like, okay, yeah, this is obvious. Of course, people are going to watch this. Though to get on that, it's like with the how well this movie is going to do because of the pandemic, it's like, it's really hard to judge how well this movie is actually going to do, and when it does, like, we won't even know really the results because it's like, it's just streaming.
Yeah, it's going to be a while, and I don't think it's going to be an instant, like, Wonder Woman type thing where we're just going to know. I think it's definitely going to take a while for us to get like some form of a number, and that's probably like the only thing I'm a little bit worried about.
We are going to get like some numbers right away from like the little it does in theaters right now, but it's like that's only like absolute diehards that's doing the theater stuff right now, so it's like it'll make money in theaters, but it won't make a lot, and I think they all know that. They're expecting that for everything this year, because I will say that a lot of people are saying, oh my god, how could they treat Godzilla vs. Kong like this? And I'm like, well, easily, because they're treating all of their movies like that this year.
Yeah, I mean, even I was like...
It's like, I don't think they're singling this movie out. It's like, this is happening for all of Warner Brothers movies, really.
Yeah, but, like, from my mindset, when I first saw this, and I really wasn't thinking, like, at 100% capacity, I was just, like, instantly going for the negative, which is stupid, but... Instantaneously, I thought, you're going to market this movie for a month, maybe two. Like, how good is that? But I also forget that even when paired up against Endgame, KOTM still did pretty decently. So, like...
Yeah, like, it's hard to say, like, because we never got, like, a clear answer on what King of the Monsters' budget actually was.
No, and I don't think we will for quite some time.
Because if you look at just the raw number, but with no context, like $300 million, that's still pretty good. It's just we don't actually know what the budget was.
Yeah.
So we can't really, like, was it 170? Was it 200? Like,
I think it was 170. I think. I'm not sure.
We never got a clear answer on that one.
And if we did, we just don't know. And if we did, we're just fucking up right now.
The good news was that we know that apparently it did amazingly well on DVD and Blu-ray.
Yeah, I heard that was, like, its massive kick in the shin right there, no pun intended.
Which granted, you have to understand, like, for movies in general, movies really probably do make more money on video than they do in theaters anyway, because they're available longer.
Yeah, and I think between VOD, DVD, Blu-ray, the fucking Best Buy exclusive version, I think I think a lot of this movie's hype just came from, you know, that. And, because, I don't know, people have this weird notion where it's like, I'd rather spend $20 on a movie and bring it home than spend $20 on a ticket and then be out of my home pre-pandemic. It's weird. It's like, I get it, but, you know.
Yeah. And, like, you also gotta understand, like, a lot of this stuff is also, like, a nowadays problem, because, like, you look back in the past, like, that wasn't as big of a deal, because, like, stuff stayed in theaters even longer and got re-released, and, like, they were just, like, more okay with it, since budgets were because budgets were also smaller, so I guess that's part of it. But it's, like, weird to think about how, if stuff like that happened in today's climate, people would say, like, some of the big classics we know today would be failures.
Yeah.
Like, Gremlins and Ghostbusters came out the same weekend.
Oh God! Even I.
Yeah, like, if that happened
that.
today, Gremlins probably would have been deemed a failure because of Ghost blowing up against Ghostbusters. But no, we remember both of them as big classics.
Yeah, this is true.
So it's hard to really say. We're getting off topic here. Let's go back to the trailer.
Yes.
So, actually, I want to make a joke about merchandising for the video. Also, the King of Monsters also did really well on merch, because that's where the real money's made.
Just like Star Wars.
I might not use that. I don't know. Okay, what else do we want to talk about with the trailer?
We already discussed Mechagodzilla and everything, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, so...
do we want to talk about Godzilla's portrayal versus Kong here?
Yeah, why not?
Okay, so let's talk about Godzilla's portrayal here versus Kong, because from what we can tell here, it looks like they're definitely going more Kong as the good guy / underdog, whereas Godzilla's more of a...
Antagonistic force.
Antagonist, yeah.
Yeah.
Which, I think that... Do you think that's only because, like, in the end of King of Monsters, they had that throwaway line saying, good thing is on our side for now, and they're just like, oh, it's no longer for now, baby.
I mean, it might be. I mean, it seems like they've kind of had... Well, actually, does it? To me, it seems like they've kind of had this, like, planned out since Kong was thrown into the Monsterverse, like, as, like, you know, an eventual tie-in. It seems like this is something that they've kind of had on the back burner and everything. So, maybe? But also, at the same time, they might have just dropped the tin can into the mix recently. I'm not sure, actually.
Yeah, because it feels like Godzilla hasn't been antagonistic enough to really make that seem warranted. It like, they did say something is driving him to do this, but what? And, like, there were all those newspaper clippings saying Monarch stumps, like, trying to figure out why Godzilla is doing this, and it has to be something.
Yeah.
My question is, it's like with Mechagodzilla, it's like, that was a Monarch thing if we're going by, like, the newspaper clippings. So it's like, would that be the problem? Like, are the villains hijacking it? Most likely, probably, but we don't know that. Is something else going on? I did not read any of the leaks, and please do not tell me if that is what that is, because if you try to tell me some of the leaks, I will block you.
Okay. My bad.
But, like, it just feels like a little awkward to have him just suddenly be the bad guy here. Like,
Fuck. I can't say anything.
I will say, like, one thing that when it first brought up that the tin can would be here, it's like I'm thinking, who's to say that they're gonna team up to fight against us, or that's the big thing? Well, I was thinking originally, like, well, maybe he's the reason why they're fighting, like, oh, Mechagodzilla brings Godzilla to Skull Island, and that's why they're fighting in the first place, which now we know it's probably, like, more of an inverse, because they're bringing Kong from the island to civilization, because he's all chained up and everything, like it's 1933.
Yeah, but we also don't know when and why that happens. And my original thought with the possibility of Tin Can being there is that the reason why Big Boy and the Kaiju Brotherhood are coming to Skull Island is because he knows something is there, but he doesn't know what it is. And I think that maybe the conflict between that is that he might think the disturbance that he's feeling in the Force is Kong, or just because Kong is getting in his way because it's territory, that he's just trying to get through Kong to get rid of, like, what's possibly going down on Skull Island. That was, like, the original thought process.
Yeah. But now we know that's, like, okay, we see the shot of Kong with the war bat. That's probably, like, one of the first things that happens in the movie, because he's getting brought away from Skull Island. So, like, I doubt that I don't think we're gonna see them come back to Skull Island. I think it's mostly that's gonna be like the beginning of the movie where the conflict starts.
Yeah, I think that's going to be an Act 1 movement, honestly. I don't think Skull Island is going to be anything major. But I could be wrong. Skull Island might come back later.
Like, it would. They're probably gonna bring Kong back if he doesn't die. Which, for the record, I don't want either of them to die.
I don't think either of them are going to die. I think maybe there might be a repeat of what happened in the original movie with a little bit more implication as to what, why, and how. That's all I'll say. I think one of them's gonna be gone but not dead. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, they're gonna be on vacation for a bit. And their whereabouts and their ETA might be slightly questioned.
Well, it's also like the thing to point out that it's like it feels weird for them to kill them off because when you really think about the thing with the MonsterVerse is that this is a Warner Brothers universe. Thing is, the big names, Godzilla and Kong, Warner Brothers doesn't actually own either of them.
No.
Because Kong technically has like all the weird rights things and like the rights more of Universal. If anything, this is like part of a deal. It's just like, why would you kill off Universal's character? And I think Toho literally has it in the contract that you can't kill Godzilla.
Yeah, they do. That's been like a major
So it's
thing.
like, I think it's a part of a thing where it's like they might try to end this more vague because we don't know if we're getting more movies, so they need to see where the rights are at this point. Where it's like, you probably don't want to have Kong front and center because you don't know if Universal's going to let you keep Kong in the MonsterVerse. You don't know if Toho's going to run a renegotiate so soon, or to what degree, if they haven't already. We don't know.
Yeah. So
it's like, realistically, who's to say that the MonsterVerse ends because it doesn't do well? Who's to say it might just end because we lost the rights?
I was just going to get into that. I have a feeling that, especially if Singular Point does very well, I have a feeling Toho's going to be on this. I have a feeling Toho's going to be on this new wave where it's like, okay, well, since this is doing well, we're going to do this, but you guys can pay for rights to all these monsters to make your movies, which we're also going to be making money off of. And they might just stay a little bit more the experimental anime route. Because, I mean, I know we can't, take the words of a spokesperson for Toho, to fact as this is what's going to happen. But in 2019, they really didn't seem all too bothered that the movie didn't perform the best. They just seemed to be rather happy that Godzilla's representation in a US-made movie is actually very faithfully and respectfully done. So I have a feeling, Toho likes money. And the one thing they like more than money is not spending money to make money. So initially, they're going to be getting money to have another studio make their movies for them. So that's the kind of route that I really would like it to go, because I really, really would love an anime series from Japan and the MonsterVerse to kind of be going on at the same time, because there's no questioning there. You're not going to get confused. Nobody's going to get confused. It's like Godzilla's Singular Point. If it blows up, it blows up. It's going to be its own series. Clearly not in any way, shape, or form related to GVK. GVK and the MonsterVerse, completely different thing that's going on. Both mediums can exist at the same time, merchandising and everything. And, if both do well, that's cash in Toho's pocket. And it's like, why are they going to get rid of a cash opportunity? Especially with them starting up a HQ in LA. So it's like, clearly they have plans to do more things. We just don't know what.
And that was one thing I was thinking. It's like, well, why would you take this away? Ideally, you would both want to make movies.
Exactly.
One year you get the big Hollywood, big budget Godzilla movie, and the next year you get the smaller Toho film, which will get a limited release here in America for the diehard fans.
I mean, everyone's happy. Even if they did that, I'd be fine with it.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking a year ago. It's like, oh, well, why wouldn't they just have it so okay, you're getting the big fancy Hollywood movie for everyone, and then the people who aren't as big of fans won't know about the Toho movie, so they get a nice year break so it doesn't feel oversaturated.
Yeah.
And then the diehards get the Toho film that year, so that they're happy still too.
Exactly. And I think that's a perfectly viable thing to do, honestly.
Whether or not it happens, we have no idea because we don't know anything right now.
We really don't.
Even
It's all just
especially with the
speculation.
pandemic, we don't know what anyone's plans are.
Yeah, and at this point, we don't even know if them having the rights really means anything, really, just because there might be filming restrictions in like 5 months, like there is in Japan. Like there's a filming restriction; you can't legally be filming, and there's this, there's that. So it's like we really, really, really do not know what's going on. But from what both of us are saying, we're just hoping for the best, because while Godzilla may forever, like Yoko Higuchi said, like he may forever be an obscure property, but if he's doing well here and he gains that notoriety, I feel like he can move away from the obscurity of it all, especially if he's getting paired up with like Kong again.
Well, that's weird. I don't know if I'd call it obscure because everyone knows what Godzilla is. It's just a matter of people have actually watched it is the other thing.
Niche might be a better word then.
Yeah.
Not obscure. I mean, yeah, because everybody and their mother knows who and what Godzilla is. I mean, pop culture be damned. But, yeah, like, I definitely feel giving up now isn't the right thing to do. And I feel like just still stay the course with it, man. Because, like, why stop? Why stop? Why even, like, think about it? It's like you have the potential, like, yeah, we got a little shaky because we got a little bit big-headed and everything, and it's understandable why, because the KOTM trailer was one of the most well-received things on the internet that weekend. And, like...
Yeah, like, it was more... There were more people who watched that trailer than the Harry Potter movie trailer that came out the same day.
Yeah, and that's like, holy fucking shit, Godzilla just beat Harry Potter property, which is beloved by many. So it's like, okay.
Which also, it was funny, because even then, when you look at both King of Monsters and that Harry Potter movie, I think generally more people still like the Godzilla movie anyway.
Well, yeah, because that was that was Grindelwald that came out, right?
Yeah,
that movie kind of
was,
blew.
Bad.
Yeah, I kind of really didn't like that. I finally saw it not too long ago. Didn't like it.
It was a nothing movie. It's like the conflict the main character is talking to his not girlfriend. He meets up with her like 2 hours in and says like 2 lines to her, and then they both have to run away from the explosions.
And that's it.
That's my review of Crimes of Grindelwald. Why the fuck is McGonagall there? She's canonically a child at that point.
Yeah, fuck J.K. Rowling. Hateful bitch. But anyway, Godzilla versus Kong.
There's also, like, everyone keeps making the joke of, oh, they're gonna have to totally team up against someone. Like, they might team up against someone, but another possibility that we might not think of, yeah, they might still be a bigger bad, but who's to say they're actually even on the same team as them?
Exactly.
Against it. It could just be a free-for-all, for all we know.
It could be. Or somebody brought up that, hey, Godzilla might just be a big fucking asshole. What if Kong and Mechagodzilla theoretically team up?
That could be another possibility.
And people are like throwing out the window. It's like, that doesn't make sense. But it's like, there's a gigantic cybernetic mechanoid version of Godzilla.
Yeah, I think the question is the existence of Mechagodzilla at all, not so much who they're fighting against.
Exactly. Now, I could bring up a whole different thing.
They already brought up that Ghidorah's probably from space last time.
Yeah.
We're already at Showa at this point.
Dude, KOTM's just a big-budget Showa era film. It's just the truth.
Yeah.
Now, I could bring up something, but I'm not going to because I don't want you to be possibly spoiled by things that have been hitting the internet. So, actually, I won't say anything. But it's going to be interesting to find out what the team-up is, if there's a team-up at all. Because, I mean, yeah, I think we wouldn't be wrong in directly expecting Kong and Godzilla teaming up against a specific person or monster. But the one thing I do want to say though is if it's Ghidorah, I'm gonna be so bummed.
That would be a little lame because like we already had him last time. Like it'd be cooler to see Kong fight Ghidorah, but just getting another Godzilla Ghidorah fight.
It's like
whatever.
I'm totally uninterested in it because the whole like thing is just that there was we don't know if it's real or fake listing for Ghidorah, like a GVK Ghidorah figure. Don't know if it's real or fake. Pretty sure it was fake. So the conversation started. It's just like, oh, I think that'd be pretty cool. But at the same time, it's like, okay, so the second American Mechagodzilla ever made, technically third if you want to get really technical, because animated series. It's like you want Mechagodzilla to become essentially Mecha King Ghidorah. That's what you're telling me right now. It's like, why in the ever-loving Christ would you want Mechagodzilla's first live-action appearance since Ready Player One to get de-evolved into Mecha King Ghidorah? Why would you want that?
The Ready Player One's barely even live action. That's still like 90% CG.
Yeah, but still, big budget Mechagodzilla, essentially.
I would think, like, in a later movie, that could be a cool concept, have them fuse together for Mecha Ghidorah.
Yeah, but why now?
But
why the
right
first
now,
time we're seeing Mecha G? Why would you want it to...
So I feel like that'd be a little too much for one movie.
Not only would it just be too much, it would just be like, oh, wow, you guys are kind of falling back on a crutch for a more popular monster. That's kind of upsetting.
I wouldn't even say a more popular monster at that point, because, like, I feel like Mecha Godzilla is probably more popular than Ghidorah, at least over here.
Oh, that's true. But still, I mean, it just feels like that would have been a weak crutch. That would have felt like they had little faith in the movie in and of itself. I mean, originally when the leak happened, like, I was like, do we really need Mechagodzilla in this freaking movie? It's called Godzilla vs. Kong. Like, why are we moving away from that? But now, knowing things that may or may not be true, it's like, oh, okay, that makes sense, actually. That's actually kind of cool. Good on ya. Don't even know if it's real. Yay.
Also, I just want to say that the Save Mothra jokes were never funny. Stop making them. First of all, like, even in the logic of the movies, that doesn't even fucking matter because Mothra dies all the time and comes back. Godzilla wouldn't give a shit.
And, what is it? Mike already said, oh yeah, she regains, like, she retains all of her memories and everything, so it's just like, new year, new body, who dis? Like, it's not that big.
Save Mothra. She's dead. Yeah, save her.
Super dead.
She's coming back in like 5 years. I don't care. You know how long it takes for me? I'm a giant lizard. I can fall asleep for 5 years and she'll be back tomorrow. I'm fine.
Godzilla is currently trending in the U.S.
Well, he's been trending like 5 times this week. Who cares?
Well, I'm happy, man. It's like this movie went from nothing. It went from nothing to everything in a week, and it's like. It's getting crazy.
Okay, so yeah, we saw the trailer you liked. You're looking forward to the movie. Do you have any final thoughts?
Any little doubt that I had that I was going to be excited about this movie is entirely erased. I'm very excited. This looks like it's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be the right amount of ridiculous and the right amount of just everything that I was hoping it would be. And I'm excited. And I'm ready to welcome this movie into my face. How about you?
I can actually get hyped now because we have more than just the idea behind us. It's like, because it's like when Singular Point drops, it's like, oh my god, there's going to be a new Godzilla anime. Are you excited? Like, I mean, I'm looking forward to it, but we don't have anything to go off of yet. I couldn't really get excited until after the first trailer dropped. It's like with this, like, oh, we've had the banner, but it's like, that doesn't really tell us anything that we couldn't already recreate ourselves with some toys.
This is very true.
Like, you need to show me something for me to care. It's like, oh, look, it's Godzilla and Kong toys. It's like, okay, well, we know the Skullcrawler exists, we know Godzilla exists, we know Kong exists. What am I supposed to gain from this? Oh, he has an axe. Cool. It matters how he uses, though. I would need a trailer to show how he's using it to really get excited for that. And now we actually have all of that. So now I can, like, yes, now I'm excited.
Yeah. I mean, I'm still immensely excited for both, honestly. Like...
The good news is that now it's like we're only 2 months away versus the year that King of the Monsters was when the first trailer dropped.
Yeah, and 1 year as opposed to nearly 1 month. I'll take those odds.
It is a little weird that it just went up from May to March out of nowhere.
Yeah, it is. Like, I thought May would have been like the best time for it because, you know, ample amounts of marketing, this, that, the third. But, I don't know, like, now it's like, okay, well, we have a trailer at the end of the month. We have an entire month plus 2-3 weeks of March for it to really sink in and get people ready for it. It's like, maybe that's all this movie needed. They could be banking on the entire fact that like, the trailer not existing was just a giant meme, and now the meme is dead because it's like, oh, it exists. I honestly can't get my words straight because holy fuck, like we actually just got the trailer.
Lizard movie.
And I hope people stop.
Big monkey.
I hope people stop being overly butthurt over the fact that there was more Kong and Godzilla in the promotional when in the trailer it was just a perfect balance.
Were people actually upset about that?
I saw a couple of people that are just like, oh, funny joke. Is like, oh no, I'm being serious. Like, this is stupid. It's like, oh.
Yay!
Yay.
Okay, so that was us selling out and talking about the 2-minute long trailer for almost like a half hour, probably. I don't know how much I'm gonna be able to cut this video down.
I've got 47 minutes and 10 seconds as of right now.
Hopefully, I can cut it down to like 20 or 30 or less. I could not cut the video down that short. I'm ending the video here. Goodbye.